the information and responses do you solemnly swear in this proceeding that you will accurately translate from English to Spanish and Spanish to English? Thank you. You may put your hand down. Mr. Angel Hernandez, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that in this proceeding, the information and responses you submit will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Sí.
Thank you. You may put your hand down. Mr. Hernandez, before we proceed, I need to discuss several things with you regarding the rights and protections that you're afforded in our system of justice. The first right is the right to remain silent. That means that you do not have to make any kind of statement. You don't have to answer questions. You don't have to submit any kind of paperwork that has your signature, especially papers that admit or confess to wrongdoing. Do you understand you have those rights?
Sí.
You also have the right to a jury trial. That's a proceeding wherein you and your attorney and the state's attorneys would select 6 people from what's called a jury pool, a pool of disinterested members of the community that would hear the trial, that would hear the testimony, see the evidence and witnesses, and then decide whether you have been proven guilty beyond reasonable doubt or whether you are in fact not guilty. That's called the right to a jury trial. Do you understand you have that right?
Sí.
Also, you have the right to what's called the confrontation of witnesses. If you decide to go to trial, people will come in and testify, whatever number. You and your attorney would have the right to question, cross-examine, or challenge any witnesses who would testify. Do you understand you have that right?
Sí.
You also have the right to appeal. That right is very technical. You'd have to know what you're doing pretty well. And what would happen is you yourself or your attorney or the two of you together could demand that a higher court would review the official record of this proceeding, the evidence, everything about this trial or a trial, if you went to trial. And you would make whatever type of legal challenge you wanted to make. Do you understand you have the right to appeal?
Sí.
Finally, you have the right to have this proceeding in the open public courtroom. That means that you could demand that today's hearing or any trial or proceedings be held in the open public courtroom. But because of the COVID pandemic, we're not doing that. And in order to proceed today, you have to agree or consent to do this like we're doing, which is called video conference. It's on the computer. It is being sent out on the YouTube, which is public, but it is not in the open public courtroom as is required by law. Do you understand you have that right?
Sí.
All right. Now, you have reviewed some paperwork and signed those papers concerning this case. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Sí.
Those papers you should have reviewed with your attorney and signed them. The papers that are in this proceeding that you have signed, did you understand what they say?
Sí.
Now, do you read and write the English language?
No.
Did Mr. Barrera or someone with him translate the documents for you?
sí,
And do you have any questions about the documents that you signed?
no,
The first document I want to mention to you or remind you of is the one that you consented to a video conference, what we're doing here. Did you review that with your attorney and did you sign it? That you agreed to the video conference?
sí,
Also, Mr. Barrera, did you review the documents in this proceeding that are part of this record with your client?
I did, Your Honor. Spanish was actually my first language. I can speak, write Spanish very well. Me and my client went over these documents in person with the help of his daughter, Judy. I also took the liberty of translating all these documents in Spanish, made sure they were correct, and reviewed them with my client. At the end, he had no questions and understood everything.
Very good. Is it also your report to this court that you have signed a document wherein you declare that the state has complied with Article 39.14 Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, known as the Michael Morton Act, agreeing that they have provided full discovery to your client?
I do acknowledge, Judge, states complied with the discovery.
Mr. Hernandez, one of the documents that you signed has more than one page. It is the title of it. Well, first of all, it starts off the case number, the state of Texas versus Angel Hernandez in County Court at Law Number 5. Then the title of the document is Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions. That document states what you're charged with, what you're going to enter a plea to, what charge, and what kind of plea. Then it has 15 parts that are numbered 1 through 15. It includes reminders to you of the different rights and protections that are provided by our Constitution and laws. It reminds you that you're giving up those rights. Do you know the document that I'm talking about?
sí,
One of the things it tells you is that the agreement that you have made with the state, as the judge, I have to say yes or no to that agreement. I have to approve it or deny it or refuse it. I also have the right to give you or to punish you within the range of punishment for the charge that you are pleading to. Do you understand that?
sí,
I can give you whatever punishment is in the proper range, even if it's greater or heavier than what you agreed to.
sí,
If I reject your agreement, if I say no, or if I give you a punishment that's greater or heavier than what you agreed to, then in that case, the law would allow you to start all over again, and nothing that you've said or anything that you've signed would be used against you. Is that clear?
sí,
All right, sir, where were you born?
México,
Are you at this time a U.S. citizen?
residente,
That is to say that you are not a United States of America citizen, you are a legal resident. Is that correct?
sí,
All right. Now, have you been given full and complete advice or information regarding what this charge are these proceedings, how they can impact your immigration status or your deportability?
Sí.
Who gave you that information, sir?
El abogado, sí.
Are you referring to Mr. Ivan Barrera?
Sí.
All right, Mr. Barrera,
Judge, no, that's incorrect. He did talk to an immigration attorney, but that was not me.
all right, Mr. Hernandez, who was the immigration attorney that gave you advice or information on this, about this case?
Con Johnson Demand.
With an attorney called Joseph DeMont.
Sorry?
Hello?
Hello?
Mr. Barrera, perhaps you can help me for the record. Is that Joseph DeMott?
I believe so, Your Honor.
DeMont.
Yo-
I know that he did talk to an immigration attorney. I don't know the name of that individual.
Okay, Mr. Hernandez. How did you find the individual, or how did you go to the attorney, the immigration attorney? When was this?
El nombre se llama Joseph DeMont, and he's an attorney that the family.
And Judge, it's his daughter, Judy.
I'm a little bit, is Judy
Sí,
there
sí,
with him right now?
entiendo.
Yes, Judge.
And is it Judy Hernandez?
I believe so, Your Honor.
Yes.
Not sure if she's has a different last name.
Well, I would like to
Yes.
at least get a. Okay, Ms. Hernandez, can you hear what's being said?
Sí.
Yes, I can.
All right. I need to, as a judge, it is important that I know who has given you advice and information. There's a case by the name of Plea versus Kentucky that the US Supreme Court requires me to be sure, or to make a record showing that you are fully aware of the consequences to you, or possible consequences to you, that this charge and any plea can have on your immigration status or deportability.
Sí.
Mr. Hernandez, are you telling me under oath that you did talk to an immigration lawyer? Because that seems you're not really being clear on that.
Yo hablé con él. My dad did, mi papá no habló con él.
Mr. Barrera, the court is not satisfied that the requirements of Plea versus Kentucky have been met. It is required that the defendant be fully apprised of the consequences. And we have at best secondhand information that does not, in my opinion, at this point, satisfy me. Now, the Supreme Court has put a bonus or an onus on me to make certain of several things. Since Mr. Hernandez has not directly spoken personally with the attorneys, I cannot know that he has been fully and properly advised of his of the consequences as is required by Plea versus Kentucky. I'm going to reset this matter for 30 days, at which time we can finish this. Hopefully, though, the requirements that you're aware of on Plea versus Kentucky are without a question met. Is that understood?
That's understood, Your Honor. I'll make sure it gets taken care of.
All right, Nicole, if you will reset this for 30 days.
Yes, Judge, I will.
All righty. Then, Mr. Hernandez, I am acting in a manner to protect your rights and the integrity of the court, making sure that we are treating you completely correctly in accordance with the Supreme Court's mandate. And Ms. Judy, if you can hear me, it is required, Mr. Barrera can visit with you and inform you of the details of what I am requiring. And it's not just what I'm requiring, but the United States Supreme Court requires of me as a judge. All right. Then this will conclude this particular proceeding at this time. Mr. Hernandez, do you have any questions of the court at this time?
No, está bien.
Okay, Mr. Barrera, Mr. Hernandez, and Ms. Judy, and of course, Ms. Abrams, all of you, thank you for participating. At this time, this concludes the court. Everybody be blessed, be well, and be safe.
Thank you, Judge. You as well.
Catherine Pollard. Ms. Pollard,
Yes, Judge.
all right, I want you to quiet down, please.
I'll work on it.